There are therapeutic benefits to watching films. The term is called cinema therapy. It was created and popularized by Dr. Gary Solomon in 1995, then by Dr. Bridget Wills in 2005, followed by other practicing psychotherapists and psychologists today. Cinema therapy is a form of therapy through watching films. It is a therapeutic experience where people may relate to certain stories to learn and heal from.
Like dreams. Movies are like dreams, an entryway into our subconscious. So whenever somebody comes in and says, I saw this movie and it really touched me, I go with that and I explore deeper and deeper layers of why this touched them.
Cinema therapy may also be a form of art therapy within film for artists to express themselves through their work. Robert Frank explored ways of linking his work conceptually, formally, thematically, and emotionally. Frank's recognized films are based on documentaries Leaving Home, Coming Home, and Don't Blink, portraying his life. Leaving Home introduces Frank and the New York neighborhood he grew up in. He uses the film as a form of therapy to reminisce of the past and depict the changes, but not for the good. Cinema therapy is used as an adjunct to therapy in clinical practices for the client to relate his or her feelings. For example, watching a tragic story to cry, allowing the client to release their emotions. It may help someone feel better or grow stronger by recognizing themselves as a character or being part of a story to undergo change. The character's behaviors may be going through similar challenges in life to observe and identify with. While Frank captured and documented America, he was learning about the culture. It was new to him and he saw how African Americans were treated, which helped him to understand how people can be. Throughout the documentaries, Frank gives his honest opinions and discusses life and loneliness, which he expresses in his work. An earlier documentary, Conversations in Vermont, is another of Frank's films portraying his children. It is in the moment talking to his children. As the film progresses, it focuses on his son Pablo. He begins to change, suffering with mental health. Throughout the documentary, Frank expresses how he feels and blames himself for his son, later producing The Suffering, The Silence of Pablo, whom later died at age 44, soon after losing his daughter Andrea, age 20, from a plane crash.
A person like that depends on love from his parents, which he didn't get enough of. And the worse his situation got with his mind, the more he needed them, and the more difficult it was to give it to him. So this was a very extremely difficult period in my life, and June was very helpful. But so that's how it ended.
William Klein also felt loneliness and turned to art at a young age as a way to escape anti-Semitism and feeling alienated. Klein spent most of his days at the Museum of Modern Art in happy relief. Klein made documentaries and expressed political views in Mr. Freedom, Far From Vietnam, and Festival Pan-African. Much like Frank and Klein, David Lynch also experienced uncertainty and hardships living somewhere unfamiliar. They used these experiences as inspiration for their work. Lynch feared living in Philadelphia, where his house was broken into twice, and half a block away a kid was shot and left for days. These horrific events were the beginning for Lynch's film Eraserhead, a horror film portraying a dream of dark and troubling things. The emotions of isolation, fear, sadness, happiness have been portrayed and expressed among their films. It has been a form of therapy to connect past and present experiences to gain understanding, closure, and perhaps make light of scarred memories. Cinema therapy is a form of therapy used by psychologists for their patients. It may be a form of art therapy within film for artists to express themselves through their work conceptually. Frank, Klein, and Lynch have portrayed conceptual meaning through their work. They express their own thoughts and certain political views that have meaning to them and their community. Though their films portray an underlying issue, darkness, or sadness, they make light of something serious. Through their experiences, they know what it is like to feel, speaking visually through film and speaking for those silent.
What made a boy of 13, 14 make his way to the Museum of Modern Art?
Must be in my genes somewhere. I guess there was also an element of wanting to get out of a shitty place like this.
Robert Frank, William Klein, and David Lynch have transitioned from photography to filmmaking. Examining their past, it demonstrates how they evolved into filmmaking, the pros of filmmaking, and what the medium meant to them, being a form of therapy. Robert Frank started making short films in 1959, leading to documentary films. Frank found interest in America, capturing and observing their culture through a lens. Frank was always on the move, aspiring to capture things that move and being in the moment. In his early years of childhood, William Klein surrounded himself with art, visiting museums and being introduced to photography from schoolmates. Discharged from the army, Klein studied fine art, leading him into photography and filmmaking. David Lynch aspired to be a painter and studied fine art. Lynch produced his first film called Six Figures Getting Sick. He entered it into an experimental painting and sculpture contest where it was shown on exhibition and awarded a prize. Lynch continued to make short films, gaining recognition, receiving awards, and attracting attention from Hollywood. As Frank transitioned from photography to filmmaking, he gained insight from the two mediums. Filmmaking taught Frank to communicate and challenge himself to try something different from mainstream commercialism in photography. Filmmaking allowed Lynch to bring his paintings to life and delve into creative writing, directing, and music. Filmmaking allows for creativity and the ability to use imagination as a way to tell stories. Frank, Klein, and Lynch had the freedom to experiment and use unconventional techniques of filming. Cinema therapy is a form of therapy. There are therapeutic benefits to watching films and making them. The story being told may relate or be an expression to learn and heal from. Artists may subconsciously use the medium as a form of therapy to express their views or ideals. Frank's, Klein's, and Lynch's work portray conceptual meaning through each film documentary produced, reaching out to those who will listen and observe.